everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be today, but I do want it to be a bit more of a chatty video. So I have a cup of tea. I never really come with a cup of tea, and I feel like it's such a like YouTuber thing to be like, grab a cuppa, let's watch this. So yeah, I've got mine. It says Little Miss Blogger. It's one of the Little Mr. and Mrs. ones, is that what's called? I think so, I'm not too sure, don't hold me to that. But yes, I've got a tea in hand, so I am well equipped for this video. As promised, I'm going to be talking all things capsule wardrobe, basically just a compilation of all my thoughts following my month of living with a capsule wardrobe. I know it sounds so dramatic whenever I say it, but yeah, I did a January style challenge for those of you that don't know, and I challenged myself to live with a 30-piece capsule wardrobe throughout the whole month of January. I did film like a couple of videos with the pieces I included, so I will leave links to those in the description box, but I will also pop them up here like as we go along through the video, so you can see all the pieces that were in my capsule wardrobe, as well as my most worn and potentially other little videos. I will leave everything linked down below. It feels like so long ago that honestly it's just like slipped my mind, all the videos I filmed, but I will leave everything linked down below. And today, yeah, it's just literally going to be my final thoughts. So first things first, I'm going to address one of the questions I was sent, and that was, for a capsule wardrobe, do you think it's important to have more options of basics or unique pieces? Now, I actually did a blog post about like similar to this, where basically 100% basics, like a lot, well, not a lot because obviously you've only got 30 pieces, but like a decent number of basics, because they are literally what's going to change and really elevate your outfits. For me, as I did this for the winter time, my basics consisted of 2 roll necks. I went for like a classic nude, and then I also had a darker grey, and honestly they were incredible. They were brilliant pieces for layering. They were really great for wearing on their own. They were great in like my videos and things like that. So it was just a piece that I am so pleased that I did include 2 of them, because when I initially put this together, I was a bit like, oh, like 2 roll necks, is that too much in my 30 pieces? But realistically, I do think you need some of those pieces that are just going to be, you know, good pieces for layering, or good pieces, just like basics, literally in the spring, summer. I'm sure these basics, as opposed to being something long sleeved or like a roll neck, it would be something like, you know, a classic t-shirt, like a plain t-shirt, nothing too fancy going on, something that you can wear over and over again in a variety of different ways. Now, with that said, I do still think it's quite cool to have some literally like cool fun pieces in there as well. To give you an example, I had that midi dress. It was like a mustard colour with some blue sort of polka dots all around it from Urban Outfitters, which I picked up in the sale, and I was so excited about it, and that was one of these standout pieces that I had in my capsule wardrobe. But honestly, it got to a point where I had just been wearing that so much that I was just a bit, I don't want to say bored of it, but I was just like, oh gosh, like I can't wear this again. And I think that's something that you want to try and steer clear of, because if you get to a point where you start potentially, I don't want to say overwearing, but wearing something so often that then you think like, oh god, I can't wear that again. And for me, I think maybe it's not necessarily so obvious in day-to-day life, but with what I do, so like posting on Instagram so frequently, and you know, just a blogger being my job, it's like I couldn't sort of keep this up, I guess. I was very bored of my Instagram theme. By the end of it, I was just like, how many times am I going to wear this dress? How many times am I going to wear these jeans? And I think that's what sort of ended up making me feel a bit just like bored and uninspired with it when it got to the end of the 31 days. Now, one thing I would say is pretty much imperative is to plan before you consider doing this. I assume majority of us don't, you know, start off with a capsule wardrobe. Most of us are going to have like a massive wardrobe and then want to do a massive cull down, and I think you just need to plan. I planned meticulously before I started, and yes, some things didn't necessarily go to plan. Like, for example, I don't know, I had like I'd include 6 jumpers and then I ended up including like 4 or 5. So, you know, there are things like that. You can't be necessarily meticulous in terms of numbers and things like that, because once you open up your wardrobe, you see all of your options, you'll be a bit like, oh no, actually I think this will be a good shout, or this will be a good shout. And for me, that's what I did. I made loads of notes, like series of notes before I started. And then when I opened up my wardrobe, those did change ever so slightly, but nothing like major, you know. I didn't say like 4 pairs of jeans and ended up with 1. Like, it wasn't like that. So yeah, that's something that I would 100% recommend you do, is write down a list, have all 30 pieces out in front of you so that you can be like, I don't know, say for example, I've got this pair of jeans, this can go really well with all of these jumpers, it will look really nice with all of these tops. Or if you're going for a dress, for example, be like, right, I've got to make sure that this will work if I want to layer it, that this will work with all my outerwear options and things like that. You just need to mix and match your options so that you know it works. Now, as I only did this for the month of January, I did make it a little bit harder for myself in that I included shoes, outerwear and accessories. Now, personally, I think if I were to do this to last me a season, I don't think that would necessarily be that easy to do. I think 30 pieces is a really good round number for clothing. So, you know, if you're going to go for literally just tops, bottoms, and dresses, skirts, shorts, things like that, I feel like that's good to have that round number of 30. However, if you're going to be including footwear and then, I don't know, formal wear, outerwear, accessories, I just think 30 becomes too little, because I definitely felt like, you know, like one of my 30 pieces was a bobble hat. Obviously I wasn't wearing that all the time, but it was something that, considering it's January and super cold, I wanted to have a bobble hat there just so that I could use this whenever it was really cold outside. And I think that's something that isn't necessarily amazing if you're doing like a capsule wardrobe for the whole of winter, for you to be like, right, yep, I've got this bobble hat and, you know, it's one of my 30 pieces. I think it can end up feeling a bit like a waste of space, even though you do use it. You know, you could probably replace that with an extra jumper and you wouldn't feel so bored, or you wouldn't feel like you're constantly repeating your style. And I think that's quite an interesting one. So if I were to do this again, or if I were to do this for the actual seasons like it's meant to be, I personally wouldn't include footwear, I wouldn't include outerwear, and I wouldn't include accessories. However, I do know that could make it super easy for us to all be like, right, I'm going to buy 10 different coats, I'm going to have 15 pairs of shoes, just being over the top with those pieces because we can. So I would still set myself a limit of perhaps 10 of... So 10 shoes, outerwear and accessories. So, you know, it means, say you'd have 5 pairs of shoes, you'd have 3 coats and then like 3 accessories or something like that. I feel like that works a little bit better instead of giving yourself an unlimited like path to Rome. I feel like you'd end up with too much. But yeah, I think the 30 pieces work for clothing, but when you're thinking about accessories, outerwear, footwear, I don't think it works as well. Another point I'd like to mention is formal wear. Now I didn't include a lot, admittedly, but I did include a few pieces. So I think I had like some leather look trousers, I had a more dressed up top, and I had a bit of a dressed up dress, and I had a pair of heels in there. Now the heels I never wore, my dressy top I never wore, and my more bodycon fitted dress I also never wore. So those were 3 pieces that I got no use out of during my capsule wardrobe. So that's something that I definitely consider. Now I do think in the whole capsule wardrobe thing, you don't have to include formal wear in there. Like, I think obviously if you had like a wedding or something, you wouldn't include that wedding guest dress in your 30 pieces. So it does make sense, but I was still thinking along the lines of, this is a challenge, it's only going to last me 31 days, so let's just go full Monty with it. And in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have included those pieces. One, because I knew that nothing was coming up in January, but at the same time I was like, oh no, what if something does come up? Like, there was always that sort of bit of me that just wanted to be cautious and didn't want to end up with a last minute dinner invitation and nothing to wear. So for that reason, I did end up including some formal wear pieces, which admittedly I probably wouldn't include now. And as far as capsule wardrobes go, I don't really know what else I can say. I've tried to include as much information as possible of like what I figured out in this month of doing a capsule wardrobe. Initially this video my hits and misses video was going to be about the pieces I absolutely loved and the pieces I absolutely didn't need. But I decided not to do that because I did share my most worn, so obviously you got to see the pieces that I absolutely loved throughout my capsule wardrobe. And I feel like in terms of the pieces I didn't love, it doesn't mean that those pieces weren't great pieces. It just means that I didn't necessarily need to use them whilst that particular month of my capsule wardrobe, if that makes sense. So it's not to say that, for example, the Lavish Alice top isn't one of my go-tos when it comes to dinner parties, because it is. I just had no occasions to wear it to. So it's just little bits like that I think are showing you what I didn't use wouldn't necessarily make sense, because it doesn't mean I don't like those pieces. It doesn't mean that I would never wear those pieces. It just means that that month they weren't necessarily, you know, required. And so yeah, one thing I absolutely adored during my capsule wardrobe was jewellery. I've layered it up today because I just love jewellery. I'm really into it at the moment, and it was definitely pieces, like just classic pieces that I was so happy that I had in my collection, because say I wore the same, I don't know, grey jumper like 5 times, I layered different jewellery with it, and I think it made so much difference, and that's just a positive to take from it. You sort of, instead of, I would probably usually be like, oh, I'm so bored of this grey top, like, let me buy another one. Whereas this really taught me to be like, right, I've worn this grey top in this way, let me think of new ways to wear it. And that's something that I definitely have taken from this challenge. It's just experimenting more with my style, being more open to layering, and just mixing and matching much more. I definitely get to that point where I would say I get a bit lazy with my outfits. I'm just like, right, this works, this is what I'm going to wear, or like, I've got this jumper, I'm going to wear it like this, and then I sort of throw it into my wardrobe, it ends up lying on the floor, and then I just forget about it almost. And this was a really great way for me to be like, right, I've got these 30 pieces, these are the different ways I can wear them, and yeah, I did. If anything, I feel like having this capsule wardrobe for the month definitely led me to the conclusion that there is far too much in my wardrobe and I just don't need this much. I wouldn't say I don't feel like I need to shop or I don't want new clothes or anything like that, because I definitely still do. I was still shopping throughout the month of January, even though I knew I couldn't wear any new pieces until February, but I was like, well, I'm going to wear these in February, I'm so excited. But if anything, it has taught me the kind of pieces that I want to have in my wardrobe. So that's more basics and nothing too, you know, nothing too drastic or dramatic or very different to my personal style, because I know they're going to be pieces that A, I won't be able to style in different ways, and B, pieces that I will probably wear once and then push to one side, which I feel I definitely need to cut down on. So with that said, I have a wardrobe clear out on the cards. I've actually got a date in my diary. It's that serious. I've got a couple of girls coming over as well to help me out, and we're just going to have the time of our lives going through my wardrobe, sorting everything out, getting everything into what I think I should keep, what I'm going to potentially sell, and what I'm going to take to charity, and obviously what my friends are going to take too. So yeah, I definitely think that from this I have learnt that accessories in terms of jewellery and like glasses, makeup, that sort of thing can really change an outfit completely. Take it from day to night, take it from casual to a little more smarter, which is amazing. If I didn't address anything, then do feel free to leave me a question down below. If you have anything you'd like to ask me about how I found the capsule wardrobe, or if there's like anything in particular you'd like to know, then do let me know. I did ask over on my Instagram if anybody had any questions, so I did try to address those in this video. But if there's anything that I didn't address, then please do feel free to leave me a comment and I will get back to you. And that's everything capsule wardrobe wise. If you missed any of it, or if you'd like to catch up on how my capsule wardrobe went, then I will leave links down below to the videos I filmed, and also if you scroll down further in my description box, you'll see an area with my blog, and I will also pop over some of my blog posts that I shared during my capsule wardrobe, so you can see some of the different ways that I styled the 30 pieces, and just some of my thoughts as well, that I like, my little ramblings that I wrote in my blog post. So do check that out. As always, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.